डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Hello, friends and all learners of Indian Poetics Certificate course conducted by Dr. Babasaheb Open University. It is under Swayam portal, and I am very happy to tell you that such courses are very important for the students, for the learners. The concept of Open University is very dynamic and should be more and more popular. I'm sure that Babasaheb Open University here in Ahmedabad works very dynamically, and I appeal to all the students to join different types of certificate courses, diploma courses, and so on. This is the third video lecture on Riti. But before I tell you anything more about Riti, just I want to give you some idea every day almost about Indian poetics. I am discussing the characteristics of Indian poetics. Indian poetics is highly sensitive, highly aesthetic, and highly rational. This is the combination of contemplativeness as well as rationality. There are few great theorists and poeticians who have contributed to literary theories. And one of the most important source of Indian poetics is how to provide pleasure, delight. Actually, the word pleasure may be physical or material, while delight is a spiritual aim, spiritual goal. And Indian poetics provides that. Another thing is about linguistics. In Indian poetics, you find alankaras, riti, vakrokti, auchitya, and other theories which focus more on language, more on suggestivity, suggestiveness, dhvani, and probably the most important contribution of Indian poetics is about rasa. The word rasa is very important from spiritual point of view, from aesthetic point of view, and from literary point of view. It should create different kinds of rasas, different kinds of emotions that generate a better human being, more sensitive human being. And that is why it is said in Indian poetics that Saradaya, one who has very sensitive heart, can experience great delight, aesthetic delight, and this is one of the traits, one of the characteristics of Indian poetics. Now we come to our today's video lecture topic, Riti. The word Riti is very, it looks novel, it looks new. And as I told you, the source of all schools of Indian poetics is quest of poetic beauty. The Indian poetics always searches for poetic beauty. Poetic beauty creates poetic delight, aesthetic delight. And that is why all schools of Indian poetics are searching for poetic beauty. And that is what we should understand first. Riti can be defined a specific arrangement of words. What is Riti? Riti is a specific arrangement of words. In Sanskrit it is said Visishta Padarachana Ritihi. Riti means Visishta Padarachana, specific arrangement of words. Words should be arranged in such a way that it becomes Riti. Great poetry should be free from blemishes, dosas. There should be no dosas, no blemishes, no faults, no weaknesses. Good poetry should always be free from blemish, free from dosas. In Sanskrit, the word dosa has different synonymous meanings. Dosa may be physical, may be spiritual, means touching your mental position. So here it is aesthetic or poetic. Great poetry should be free from blemishes. Positive qualities make poetry beautiful. Poetry can become beautiful only when positive qualities are highlighted. Great poetry needs to be full of better qualities, full of gunas. In Sanskrit, the opposite of the word dosha is guna. Guna means quality, virtue, and good quality. Blemish means fault and shortcoming. So to create great poetry, there should be positive qualities. Riti had remained a constant point of reference for poeticians from ancient time. Actually, the word Riti looks new, but it had been used in a different way right from ancient times. That there should be Riti, there should be specific arrangement of words. And this refers to style, this refers to path or marga. Bharat Muni called it Vritti or Vritti, Dandin called it Marga, path, and Vaman called it Riti. Now we must understand this, that actually right from Bharata Muni, who didn't use the word Riti, but he used the word Vritti. And Dandin, whom we call Dandi in Sanskrit, called it Marg, path, way, and Vaman called it Riti. And so Vaman, who is considered as the great exponent of this theory, Riti, is Vaman who used the word Riti for Vritti and Marga. According to Vaman, Riti is the soul of poetry. According to Vaman, who said that poetry has a soul. But what is the soul? Riti is the soul. The style is the soul. In English, we often say style is the man. It means that when you read something, it represents the individuality, the greatness of the writer, of the poet, of the creator. When you read Kalidas, you are amazingly delighted. And this shows that it is his Riti, it is his way which impresses us. Let us learn something about Vaman. Vaman accepted 3 Ritis. He says that there are 3 important Ritis: Vaidarbhi, Gaudi, Panchali. When we use these words, you can understand that Vaidarbhi refers to Vaidarbha, Gaudi and Panchali also refer to certain areas. But Actually, Vaman wanted to convey a different meaning through Vedarbhi, Gaudi and Panchali. He accepted these three ritis. Now, what is Vedarbhi? Vedarbhi has 10 important gunas. Gaudi is full of ojas and kanti. Vedarbhi has 10 gunas. Gaudi has 2 important gunas, ojas, brilliance, and strength. Strength and brilliance. Ojas means strength and kanti means brilliance. Panchali is defined by Madhurya and Saukumarya. The word Panchali, as I am sure that you know, also refers to Draupadi, who belonged to Panchal, and that is why she is called Panchali. What does Panchali represent? It represents Madhurya and Saukumarya, sweetness and beauty. Madhurya means sweetness, ojas means strength and brilliance. Kanti refers to loveliness which delights mind and ear. Kanti, the word Kanti refers to beauty, refers to brilliance and high quality of beauty. Bharat and Rudrat. Bharat speaks about origin of vrittis. Bharat Muni, who wrote Natya Shastra, speaks about the origin of 4 kinds of vrittis: Bharati, Satvati, Keshaki and Ksharamati. Naturally, you can understand that these are the highly beautiful words that represent different ways, different styles, different qualities. Bharati, which represents India, Satvati, which represents Sattvic quality, Keshaki and Ksharamati also represent noble qualities or gunas. He called vrittis as the mother of Natya. Bharat Muni in his Natya Shastra says that vrittis are the mother of Natya. Natya means drama or even all kinds of art. Bharat Muni included Natya Shastra with dance, acting, poetry and different genres of art. Rudrat spoke of 4 ritis. Rudrat differed from Bharat Muni in some way. For example, he says that Vedarbhi, Panchali, Latiya and Gaudiya are the 4 kind of ritis. He didn't use the word vriti, he used the word riti. And he said that 4 ritis are Vedarbhi, Panchali, Latiya and Gaudiya. Great poetry should have great gunas and it must be free from blemishes. Great poetry should always be full of good qualities and it should be blemish free. There should be no dosha, there should be no shortcoming, there should be no fault, it should be fault free. Bharat dealt with the concept of guna for the first time, defining them as opposite of dosas. Bharat also talked about gunas for the first time in Indian poetics and he defined them as opposite of dosas. Instead of defining gunas, he put them against dosas. Dosa is a blemish, fault, and guna is a good quality. When you use the word bad, good is the opposite. Good is a guna and bad is dosa. Bhamaha accepted 3 gunas. Now Bhamaha, as a theoretician, accepted 3 gunas: madhurya, sweetness; ojas, strength and flavor; and prasada. Dandin considered guna as pranas and called riti as marg. Now Dandi was the first poetician, theorist, who used the word gunas as the pranas of literature, of poetry, and he called riti as marg. Instead of using the word riti, he called it marg. Marg means path, the way, the style, padarachana, specific padarachana. Vaman doubled gunas. Instead of just talking about 10 gunas, he divided them into 10 Shabda guna and 10 Artha guna. Actually, he used the same word for Shabda guna and Artha guna, but he said that there are 10 Shabda guna and 10 Artha guna. So totally he gave 20 gunas. He enumerated or showed, presented 20 gunas. Hemachandracharya, Vagbhat, etc. accepted riti. Bhamaha and Dandin espoused 2 margas, Vaidarbha and Gauda, but Vaman used the term riti. He accepted 3 ritis, Vaidarbhi, Gaudi and Panchali. Bhamaha and Dandin used the word margas and they presented 2 margas, Vaidarbha and Gauda. But Vaman used the term riti and he said that there are 3 ritis, Vaidarbhi, Gaudi and Panchali. Rudrat accepted 4 ritis, Vaidarbhi, Panchali, Lati and Gaudi. Major acharyas of riti traditions are Dandin, Vaman, Rudrat, etc. Vaman called ritis the soul of poetry. According to Vaman, the soul of poetry is riti, and he referred to 20 gunas, as I had already told you. 10 Shabda guna and 10 Artha guna. Later, Mammat, who wrote famous book Kavya Prakash, did not take riti as an independent element of poetry. He referred to 3 vritis. Mammat didn't use the word riti and didn't take it as an independent element of poetry, but he used the word vritis and he said that there are 3 vritis, Upanagarika, Parusha and Kamala. So he used it in a different way. Actually, Vaman is the exponent of riti, and Vaman said that 4 important characteristics of poetry are words, quality of words, meanings and quality of meanings. This concept is very important. Vaman said that what makes poetry great? What are the important characteristics of poetry? There should be good words, there should be good quality of words, there should be deep meanings, and so there should be quality of meanings. So Vaman describes important characteristics of poetry with 4 elements: importance of words, quality of words, importance of meanings, and quality of meanings. Vaman's contribution to riti theory is highly important in Indian poetics. In Indian poetics, Vaman is the exponent of Riti theory, and his contribution is highly important. Vaman enumerated 10 qualities of style. Now, according to Vaman, there are 10 qualities of style of Ritis. They are floridity, that is ojas, simplicity and plainness, prasada, collections of words, slash, uniformity of diction, samata, symmetry, samadhi, sweetness, madhurya, softness, saukumarya, raciness, udarta, lucidity, arthavyakti, and brilliance, kanti. These 10 qualities are highly important for all great poetry. There should be floridity, that is ojas, strength. There should be simplicity and plainness, which is called prasada in Sanskrit. The word prasada does not mean high quality, but it means simplicity. The simplicity is important. Plainness is important. In poetry, there shouldn't be difficult to understand. Poetry should not be difficult to understand. It should have simple, plain language. There should be collections of words, slesha. You know that very often there are words like Hari, for example. There is a very famous example. Once Radha said to Krishna, "Who is at my door?" Krishna said, "I am Hari." Radha said, "Why is Hari there?" She referred to Hari as a monkey. The word Hari has actually two meanings. One, Lord Krishna, and the other, monkey. So Radhe says, "Why is monkey there?" In fact, she joked and she said that, "Krishna, you are like a monkey." So this is slesha. This is a kind of poetic quality. Uniformity of diction. Diction should be there should be samatva. Uniformity. There should be no differences, but similarity. And then comes symmetry. Symmetry is a compactness. Symmetry is something which shows samadhi, which shows concentrated language. Sweetness means madhurya. Actually, madhurta, the word madhurta is often used for food or juices, but in fact, the greatest madhurta is human vani, human speech. If somebody speaks sweetly, it can be called madhurya. And that is why in Sanskrit there is Madhurashtakam. Madhuradipate Akhilam Vishwam, Akhilam Krishnam. Or I'm sure that all of you should have heard Madhurashtakam, 8 Ashtakam about Krishna, where the poet narrates that everything is sweet about Krishna. His body is beautiful, his body is madhura, his lips are madhura, his vani is madhura, everything is madhura. Madhuradipate, and he is the god of madhurya. Krishna is the greatest example of madhurata, madhurya. sweetness. Softness, Saukumarya. Sukumar or Saukumarya means softness. Softness is also important. Then comes raciness or Udarta. It also shows a kind of courage, raciness and generosity. Lucidity is Arthavyakti. When the meaning is presented in a lucid manner, it can be called Arthavyakti. And finally, brilliance. Brilliance is Kanti. With this, let me tell you something about this is the life, just to give you something more every day. The greatest major works and major theories in Indian poetics are Bharata Muni, who wrote Natya Shastra, Bhamaha, who wrote Kavyalankara, Dandin, who wrote Kavyadarsa, Rudrat wrote Kavyalankara, Vaman wrote Kavyalankara Sutra, Kuntak wrote Vikrokti Jivita, Mammat wrote Kavya Prakasha, Anandavardhan wrote Dhvanyaloka, Rajasekhar wrote Kavya Mimamsa, Kshamendra wrote Auchitya Vichara, and Pandit Jagannath wrote Rasa Gangadhar. Every day at the end of our lecture, I'll give you some information which are very important, not only for Indian poetics, but as a general knowledge. Who were the greatest theoreticians in our Indian poetics? We may talk about different things every day, some few points, which is not the part of Riti, but which is the part of Indian poetics. So with this, we end our third lecture today about Riti. Thank you very much. Thank you all.